Welcome back to the Action Network's Euro 2020 soccer betting preview show. I'm Michael Leboff, the soccer editor here at Action Network, and I'm joined by two of my favorite colleagues, BJ Cunningham of the big city, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and Anthony DeBundo of one of the nicest cities in the world, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where they just always treat you so nicely there. Saturday, June 19th, 3 matches on the docket, 2 of which are in the group of death, starting with the 9 a.m. kickoff, one of the biggest mismatches of the first round, I guess you can call it. It's Hungary against the defending World Cup champs, France. France opened around minus 300. Who knows where this line's going to go? So you might be able to get Hungary better than 10-1 at some points. If Hungary looked all right against Portugal for a little while there, obviously the wheels came off. France, Deschamps had them played such a well-organized game against Germany. Anthony, is how much of a slaughter is this one going to be?
Yeah, I think France here probably wins. I have no desire to. I can't make a case for Hungary to win this, so I'm not going to get on the 10-1 train. For me, I'm passing. I may look to play a live under if France gets up, because France may have one eye on their last group match against Portugal. They also may have one eye on the knockout stage, and they also may still have Didier Deschamps as the manager. And we saw against Germany how France tends to play with leads in these tournaments. So they're not an over team at all. So I don't trust them enough to get margin to lay the goal and a half either. So for me, it's a pass, and I'm going to maybe get in live, but probably just going to wait out and wait for their last game against Portugal.
BJ, we might see, like Anthony said, Deschamps kind of rotate his squad. Players coming in and out. They're a deep team, obviously. He decided that he didn't really care for the 5 subs rule in the first match. So maybe a good idea to kind of get some fresh players out there in a game that they should win with their B squad. Is this France or nothing here?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Anthony. I have a hard time laying, the goal and a half or maybe even 2 if it's 2 goals now with France. I'm actually going to look at the total in this one. I think this is an under game. If you look at what France tried to do against Germany, basically they just were very well organized, sat back defensively. And Anthony did mention this on our preview pod, and I believe on the last France match. But they basically just sit back defensively and just let Griezmann and Mbappe go out on the counter because they're 2 of the fastest guys in the world and incredible attacking players. And it worked. It worked against Germany. They honestly almost could have had 3 goals if it wasn't for, tight margins with offsides. But they only created 0.34 expected goals in that match against Germany. And I think this is going to be a match where they're going to have to be the ones on the front foot, because Hungary, basically what they did against Portugal is they just sat back and looked to go on the counter and send, 2 or 3 guys out there and hope for the best. And I think it's also a match that Hungary is going to pretty much do the same because, Hungary has nothing to lose, but at the same time, it's also hard for a team like that to come out and be like, yeah, we're just going to play free-flowing attacking, but Mbappe and Griezmann are on the other side. It's really hard to do that. So I think this is a match where both teams are going to actually be kind of well-organized and kind of defensive. Hungary only created 0.23 expected goals against Portugal. It is going to be played in Budapest. We saw how electric that 100% capacity crowd was. It's beautiful to see. But yeah, I actually love the under in this match. Hungary also was the worst offense coming into this tournament. They only averaged 1.09 expected goals per match throughout Euro qualifying, and France actually had the best defense by expected goals, allowing 0.7 per match. I only have 2.07 goals projected for this match, so I love the under 2.5 goals at anything up to minus 120.
And one more thing about this, even when they played teams like a Peru or going back to the World Cup, they didn't blow teams out of the water. This was not people. You could go back early in the group stage and remember when people were saying, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong with France? They're barely beating Australia, Peru, and then they drew Denmark. Like, what's wrong with France?" Well, it's just not how they play. So the under is another thing, and definitely if there's an early goal, you will be seeing me play live under immediately.
Yeah, I think what we're learning about France and have learned about France is as much more game managers than like you said, a team that will dominate and blow the doors off of their opposition, no matter if they're Hungary or Portugal. Speaking of Portugal, they're the noon kick with Germany. This game script is really interesting to me, right? Because Portugal obviously has 3 points in their pocket already, but they have France looming on the other side. Germany, 0 points. So they need to get at least a point out of this match if they want to guarantee themselves a ticket to the knockout stage, assuming that they can beat Hungary in their final group stage match. I wouldn't be surprised if these two teams both just set up trying to put 10 people behind the ball. Obviously, that's not how Germany wants to play. Portugal, they kind of do, but it's the line's tight. Germany's a lukewarm favorite right now. BJ, I don't think I have anything on this match because I just don't understand how either one of these teams are gonna approach the match. I think it's a fun game to live bet if you see an early goal, but other than that, I'll leave it to you guys.
Yeah, I think I actually think that the total is in play here. Portugal pretty much dominated the entire match against Hungary. It did take them 80 minutes to score, and then from there, kind of the wheels fell off for Hungary. But Portugal did create over 3 expected goals in the match. They're a team that, like you saw, loves to play free-flowing open play out of their 4-3-3. They obviously have a ton of pace and talent going forward with Jota and Cristiano Ronaldo. And Germany, it was quite funny to see them just try and continue to play that high line against France, because it almost bit them. It bit them almost twice, because 2 goals got disallowed and a couple more times. And if you're going to play a free-flowing open game like that against Portugal, now Germany was pretty boring and slow in their build-up play against France, but that's because France was very compact defensively and they didn't really have an option to open things up. I think this game will be a lot more open than that France match. I think that if Germany decides to play that high line, it's going to cost them at least 1 or 2 times. They might get saved by offsides a few times, but either way, I think that over 2.5 goals is the play here, because also Portugal's defense with, Pepe aging, everything like that, Germany still does have a lot of pace going forward, and they still do have a lot of talent, even though they weren't able to score. Both these teams averaged over 2.3 expected goals per match during Euro and World Cup qualifying. So I really love over 2.5 goals here, and I'd play anything up to -115.
Anthony, what are you seeing? I still am too scared to bet this match. I don't understand what these two teams are going to do.
Yeah, Germany for me, going against them again. I think that I took Portugal plus 1/4 of a goal, -110. I like that up to -125. I don't trust Germany's offense right now. The reality is that, you go back and look at what happened in that France game. Toni Kroos was awesome in the middle of the park. I mean, he played a lot of great passes. He was controlling the game. He got it out to Gosens a lot in the left wing, where Gosens was able to swing in a bunch of crosses and some passes into the penalty area, 4 crosses, 4 passes each into the penalty area. Nothing on the end for Germany. They don't have a number 9. Werner was their best option. They didn't bring him on until the 80th minute. They tried to play Gnabry, Muller, and Havertz, and neither of them are like a true out-and-out striker. Havertz kind of a tweener. Muller's more of an attacking midfielder. Gnabry's more of a winger. They didn't have anybody who can really get in behind or win headers. And I think it's going to be the same problem against Portugal, who I do think is going to sit deep. Portugal's going to sit with guys behind the ball. They're going to look to break. It's going to be Euro, just how they played at the Euros in 2016, just how they tried to play at the World Cup 2018. They aren't really built to, possess the ball in this midfield. They're pretty good at destroying in the midfield and then trying to send Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, or Jota on the break. I think we might even see João Felix in this game, who could be excellent on the break. He plays in a bit of a counter-attacking team in Atletico Madrid. So I like Portugal to be really difficult to break down, to hit Germany on the counter, steal a goal, and win this match. I don't trust them enough to go for the money line, because I think this again could be a draw. I think, but it could be a draw because both teams would benefit from that. But for me, I'm going to take the dog here because I don't trust the favorite to score goals right now. They have very slow, very boring possession play, and not a ton of thrust.
A Portugal win would set up a really dramatic final day with Germany needing a lot of goals against Hungary. So, maybe if you're Team Chaos, the odds on Portugal are worth a bet. And that brings us to the final game on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff between Spain, who drew with Sweden in a game which they basically dominated. It was kind of hard to watch watch them not score. I particularly felt for Alvaro Morata. I like him as almost like an automatic 2-score bet. He's like 5-1 to score 2 goals. I think, he's like 8-1 to score twice. I think that's a fun bet just because of the narrative after the first game. Poland obviously were not great against Slovakia in one of the bigger upsets of the first round of matches. They're going to be around 8-1, 7-1 to win this match. Spain, obviously big favorites. Anthony, talk to me.
Spain is fine. Spain is very fine. Repeat after me. Spain is fine. Everybody wants to harp on Morata, who missed the one big chance, but they had other chances too. Danny Olmo put one on goal, saved by Olsen. Gerard Moreno came on. He put a great header on goal, saved by Olsen. I mean, they had 1.1 post-shot expected goals, which is like how good are the quality of your shots on the actual net. And Robin Olsen was just awesome for Sweden. I mean, he played an awesome game. Sweden was very tough to break down in their 2 blocks of 4, and then the 2 strikers. They really shut out Sweden completely from ever advancing the ball, except when Isak was able to work his magic. So I'm not concerned about their defense. Pedri was awesome in the midfield. I think Thiago came in. He made a difference. They have so many attacking options. And quite frankly, the Poles are not nearly as good defensively as the Swedes in terms of maintaining solidity and in terms of, just overall quality and cohesiveness in their back line. I think we're going to see a lot more holes in Poland than we did in Sweden. And I think Morata and company are going to break through and create a lot of chances. And eventually the goals will come. That's just how it works. I'm not worried at all about Spain. I think that another interesting angle here is that it is going to be really hot in Seville for this game. The Swedes seem to be wearing out at the end and really hanging on for dear life. The Poles maybe too, with having to defend and chase shadows for that long. And Jordi Alba was awesome too on the left wing for Spain, getting crosses in. Marcos Llorente on the right wing. They have options to progress the ball into the penalty area from everywhere. So I love Spain here, minus 1.25. I said in the first match that I was going to look to play against both Poland and Slovakia in their second games. That's exactly what I'm doing. They're both really bad. I think Lewandowski gets lost on an island, and I think that Spain rolls 2 goals, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think this, just going off of that first match, this could be a blowout, and that makes the alternate spreads of Spain minus 2.5, even Spain minus 3, which you probably can get around 6.5 to 1 or 7 to 1 by the time this game kicks off. Pretty interesting, because I just they're going to break through at some point. And you know what? Just one other thing to keep in mind: if they don't, let's just say Spain gets unlucky and maybe draws this match or even loses it, I think they're a very interesting team to then buy low on in the futures market too, because that number they're still around where they were at the open of the tournament. If they do struggle again to score, that number should balloon, as they'll need a win in there, or at least a point in their final group stage match. So that's just one angle to think about. BJ, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't hate taking Spain on their spread here. I mean, it's pretty clear that just Spain, and it really hurts me to say this, but they just don't have a reliable striker, which is, it sucks because they have such great midfielders and wingers that create so many chances. I mean, they created 2.89 expected goals in this match. Coming into the tournament, they were the best offense at creating chances at over 3 expected goals per match. And I think Poland is going to have a real hard time trying to at least avoid getting pinned in like Sweden did, because their main central midfielder, I'm going to mispronounce this name, I apologize, Krejcik, he got the red card and he's going to be out for this match. He's the one who plays in front of their back line, protects everything, and allows their 2 other midfielders in the 4-3-3 to go forward. Without him, it's going to be a real problem, and it's going to expose their back line. So I see Poland potentially playing maybe a 4-4-2 or maybe a 4-4-1-1, like they did Sweden did against Spain. And like you said, Anthony, I think Lewandowski is going to just be on an island, because like Anthony mentioned in our preview pod, Lewandowski's, he's the best striker in the world, but he's not the Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar type of guy to get the ball at midfield and then dribble on your defense and, score. He needs service. He needs somebody to get him the ball with one touch and score. And if he doesn't have that in this match, I have a hard time seeing how Poland's going to score. With Poland playing very defensive, I actually think I like the under in this match at anything plus money. I know it's kind of, as I'm saying that, I feel like I'm just kind of putting my foot right in the trap and I'm going to watch Spain score 4 goals, but that's okay. I don't mind doing it. So yeah, I think anything under 2.5 goals at plus money, I'm going to take.
Well, there you have it. That would wrap up our Saturday action here on the Action Network Euro 2020 soccer betting preview show.
For all the updated information on the Euros, go to theactionnetwork.com and download the Action Network app and enjoy the games.